My sister had a teddy bear. A scary teddy bear. I don't know why, but it just creeped me out. It was just so disturbing to me. The thing had eyes that looked so real. It was as if it was made from a real bear, and its face was just blank and unsettling. I first started to get weird feelings about this bear when my sister first got it. She was only a baby at the time, and I was about 4. We had a dog, you see, and he had a habit of eating things, so my mother always had to put it up on the small cabinet in the corner of the hallway upstairs. Every time I went up those stairs, I saw that creepy bear suddenly glare around the corner at me, as if it was watching me. This wasn't the weird part. It started to get really weird about 5 years later. At the age of 6 or 7, my sister had lost interest in this bear, so my mother just threw it in the old toy cupboard. The only problem was that the cupboard was in my room. When I was 9, and old enough to stay on my own and go to bed without any assistance, every night I would get into my bed at night and turn my lamp off. This is when it always got scary. As I was getting some sleep, I suddenly remembered Mom putting that teddy in the cupboard. I slowly turned to look over across my room to see it through the glass. My heart suddenly stopped as I thought about the horrors the plush had caused me. But at the age of 9, I wanted to grow up and lose my fears, so I just shook it off and put my head on the pillow. When I got up to pull my sheets on a bit further, I noticed something that would scar me for life. There, at the end of my bedroom, sat the teddy. My heart started beating normally again. I sat there staring at it for about a minute. When I needed to yawn, I closed my eyes. I opened them to see the teddy sitting closer to my bed. At this point, I was really freaked out. I started to move back to the wall and looked around to see if there was any sign that anyone had come in. When I looked back to see the teddy on the end of my bed, I was so startled that I almost fainted from fear. When I blinked, it had gone. I looked around. To my relief, I saw no sign of it. I sat my head back down on my pillow, hoping for some sleep. And then when I opened my eyes again, it was above my head, staring straight down. I screamed as it lunged down at me. I will never see a bear the same way again. A few years later, after years of horror, I burned it. I sat in enjoyment as the bear was turned to smoking ashes in my fireplace. I have lived my teenage life through adolescence. The only thing I could remember that was in any way similar to my bad experience with the bear was when I watched Trainspotting. That fucking baby scene shocked me so badly, but other than that, all was well. When I turned 19, I was about to move into my new home. I had been given the keys to the house and was ready to set up my furniture. After hours of carrying, I carried the final box from the removal truck into the front door and shut the door behind me. I turned to go into the kitchen and put it on the table. I opened it to see a cabinet. I took it out and walked into my new living room, placing it in the corner. I stared at it and thought to myself, I don't remember packing this cabinet. I didn't really care that much as I had just moved into my new home. I walked back into the kitchen to grab my television and brought it into the living room when I saw it. The teddy. It just sat there, staring at me with those realistic blank eyes. It was beyond imagination, like something from a horror movie. My fears could not be contained, and whatever that bear or demon possessing it was, it knew I was scared. I threw it in the garbage and put a cinder block over the lid as I slept in my bed that night, content and feeling a little more secure. I woke up that night and checked the time. 12 midnight. I heard a sound in the kitchen. I went to the kitchen and noticed that the outside door was wide open, with muddy paw tracks leading inside. I saw that one of my knives was gone from the holder, and then I heard something creeping behind me. I hightailed it to my car, and I just drove. I looked in the rearview mirror and saw its face. It was holding the knife. I slammed the brakes. It flew through the front windshield. It stood up, and it stared right into my eyes. I felt as if it was pulling me towards it. The only thing that could be coming towards it would be my 2 front wheels. I rammed into it, and I felt a slight bump. I sighed in relief, and drove. Not even a minute after, I felt as if something was cutting at the bottom of my car, and then it ground to a halt. I went out to check it, and there was a slash through my fuel tank. I just ran. I ran for dear life to the nearest hotel to stay at. The only one was a mile away. I ran, and with every few feet, it felt like it was just 1 foot behind. Once I finally got to the hotel, I fell onto the bed with exhaustion. When I woke up, it was at the end of the bed.